All right, guys. Ruben Bed here, transmitting live from Dorado, Puerto Rico. And I'm here showing you guys my solar array here on my roof. All right. I've done videos in the past before talking about my solar system, but I haven't really focused on the array itself. Okay. What you guys are seeing here is 570 watts. These are 1930-watt solar panels, and they're giving me a total of 570 watts. This is a 12-volt system, and basically, I live totally off grid with this small system. Okay, now a lot of people don't talk about the amperage or what they're getting amp wise. Me personally, this system, the highest I've ever seen it put out, I've seen it put out 27 amps. Now, in ideal circumstances, but generally on an everyday, everyday type thing, I see easily 22, 23 amps early in the morning, like 10 in the morning. So around noon, it won't surprise me to see 20, 24, 25 amps. But that is if the batteries are empty enough, or if I have a big enough load. But this system, 570 watts, it doesn't sound like a lot, but let me tell you, I run my entire house with this system. Now, these, like I said, are 30-watt panels. Okay, the reason being why I got these 30-watt panels, I got these from Mighty Max Solar. It was a company on eBay, and they had them on sale for $38 with free shipping, free shipping priority. Now, what happens is this same panel by Renogy will cost you $72 a piece, and and I got mine for $38 a piece. Hey, shout out catfishing. Well, these so these solar panels, when I was building my system, I wanted actually to get 100-watt panels, but the problem is that shipping to Puerto Rico, if I buy a 100-watt panel for $100, then the shipping is another 43. So it wasn't cost effective for me. So I took up the philosophy. I said, well, a watt is a watt, and I'll just add them all up. And that's exactly what I did. And every time I made a little bit of money, I bought one solar panel, I bought another one and another one, and I ended up buying 19 of them, giving me a total of 570 watts in parallel. Actually, and 570 watts is exactly the max that my charge controller, an EP Ever Tracer 30 amp, is basically that. Like, I took this to the limit. So if I were to let's say decide on making another array, like a second array, I would have to run it with a separate charge controller, because I max this out. Either that, or I would have to turn this into a 24 volt system, which I'm not gonna do. Okay, oh, look, you got a little lizard on top of my panel. Let me see if I can get a close up. Kind of. He's well, anyways, but like I said, like I live totally off grid here in Puerto Rico. I'm not an Amish, and I run everything. I run my fridge. I have a small fridge. I'll run on my lights, my modem, TV. I have a recording studio in my house, and I run it as well. Now, the recording studio does draw some power, so generally, when I'm gonna do work at night, if I have to, I monitor the panels. I mean, not the panels. I monitor the batteries very well, and if I have to, I'll turn the generator on. But normally I do the work during the day, and there's plenty of sun here in Puerto Rico on a daily basis. So, I could run the studio during the day, no problem, and still have my batteries totally topped off. I'm running 6 deep cycle marine batteries, RV batteries, hybrid batteries. They're not the ideal ones for solar, but they work very, very well, and they've served me very well. And I started building this system after Hurricane Maria. I did a whole entire year without power, guys, and it really sucked. But going back to these panels, this company, Mighty Max Solar, turns out that they no longer sell the 30-watt panels. I guess, I don't know if I bought them out, but, it was really actually very frustrating, because I wanted to continue buying. My whole plan, I mean, as crazy as it might sound, I wanted to basically fill this entire roof with solar panels and all this. I have enough real estate here, and I mean, I can still do it with bigger panels, but they cost a lot of money, per piece. Each one of these was $38. Now, I haven't seen anybody online do this modular, style. I mean, I know some people have the long panels, the flexible ones, but these are actual, aluminum framing with glass. And I'll give you guys a little close up. All right, so you can see these are really high quality panels. Okay, you know what I mean, by Mighty Max Solar. I still recommend them. They're very good. You know what I mean. And Renogy has a very similar panel to this. These are monocrystalline panels. Okay. So they're really, they're good. They're monocrystalline panels, which tend to be a little more expensive than regular ones, but they are superior panels. Now, Renogy, like I said, has this same panel at $72 plus shipping. So in my case, that panel would end up costing me about $134, $140, which is like totally unacceptable. So I could get that same, for that price, I could get a 100-watt panel from Mighty Max Solar, which a 100-watt panel by Mighty Max is like running, I would say right now about $80 plus shipping another 40. So hey, that's more manageable. Renogy, you guys need to do something about shipping to Puerto Rico and get a little bit more competitive, because your prices are too high. You guys are great. I love your company, but too high. You know what I mean? And people here in Puerto Rico, we need to be able to buy solar panels from you guys. Because right now, if since Mighty Max is no longer there, if Renogy would give me these panels at the same price as Mighty Max was doing, hell, I'd be buying panels from you guys left and right. You know what I mean? Not only for myself, but for other customers who want to build systems. Now, talking about this modular design. Look, guys. When I adopted the philosophy of a watt is a watt, it was actually due to economic circumstance. I didn't have a lot of money. I still don't, but I wanted to build my system. Ends up being that I think this is actually the wisest way to do this, because right now, if anything happens, a storm or somebody throws a rock or whatnot, well, they'll hit one panel. It's easier to replace one 30-watt panel than it is to replace an entire, a big panel that is maybe 100-watt, 200-watt panel. You know what I mean? So this modular design is beneficial in that aspect. God forbid we get a hailstorm here in this tropical island, but hey, you never know. It could happen. But if anything happens, one damaged panel, hey, it's replaceable. So in that aspect, it works. So this modular design, I actually, like I said, I haven't seen anybody on YouTube do this. Maybe they think that the losses would be too great. I haven't experienced any losses. You know what I mean? No overheating problems with the wiring. I have a relatively short run because my batteries are inside my house. So, I would say maybe the most, maybe 25 feet, which is relatively a short run. Voltage drop, really, it's not even noticeable, to be honest with you. But I think this is a great way to do it. Right now you could pull this off with smaller panels. 20-watt panels, 25-watt panels. As long as you have the space, the real estate to put these up. Hey, you can build your system that way if you can't afford big panels all at once. The system is serving me very, very well, guys. I live totally off grid. I don't have a bill. If another hurricane comes along, these panels are small and light. I'll just disconnect them and bring them inside and wait for storm to pass, and then come out and put them right back. So I mean, everything about taking this decision, this modular way of hooking up these panels, has at least worked out for me. Basically, if anybody's wondering how I have them mounted, well, actually, I'm gonna give you guys a little view of them. All right, very, very simply, All right. Okay, let me come right around back. All right, here we go. I have them leaning against concrete blocks. You know, every time I would buy a panel, I would buy a concrete block. It would cost me $1. I tied them down with rope, tied them down with steel cable. You know, I tied them out with zip tied to each other and with steel zip ties. So they're pretty they're pretty secure. They're not, as you can see, they're not as level as it would be like a professional install. But you know what I'm saying. This was a total DIY project. As you can see right here, this was an old phone company box, and I converted and I turned it into like a distributor box, and it has the bus bars inside, and all my panels connect to that. You know, so I made that. You know, this is all homemade, and this is my project. It took me about 2 years to pull off. Due to to my I don't have much money, so this was just a little project that I was just building up, and it worked very well. And it worked very well, and like I said, I'm living totally off grid. I don't have an electric bill. And especially here in Puerto Rico with everything that's happening now with the earthquakes and stuff. I say to myself, if earthquake comes and half the house crumbles, then I'll just put my solar panels somewhere else, and being in a room. It's like you end up going into like survival mode. Especially here in Puerto Rico after Hurricane Maria. Then you got the earthquakes, and you got these asteroid fireballs falling from the sky. I kid you not, that happened. It's happened already a couple of times. So, and I'm working on. Let me show you guys. This what I'm gonna show you guys now is kind of like a work in progress. So don't mind me. It's not like done right yet. But this is one of my cisterns. That's another one of my cisterns, and I'm putting together a rainwater harvesting system. So the rain will accumulate on the roof. It'll come down here. I'm gonna have this part here deviate to the side, what they call a first flush, and then so I'm gonna, but I mean, it needs this together. But at the same time, I recommend for people, for guys, you guys, 3,000 watt generator. These are 800 watt generators. They're cheap. That has been stored. It has additives to prevent it from going bad. So and I'm gonna give you guys a little tour here. All right, so I'm coming inside the house, and let me see if I turn on the light for a second. All right, and I'll show you guys the actual system itself. All right, there it is. All right, that is my system. All right, right here, I have 6 deep cycle batteries in parallel. All right, that is my charge controller, EP-Ever, MPPT. Definitely get MPPT. Those are 2 of my small inverters. I use those for, I alternate them for certain things. Like if I'm gonna run the fridge, I'll use the big generator, the big inverter. See, these inverters, these are 2,000 watt. This is just an extra car battery that I got for little knickknacks. This is not a solar battery at all. And so this is like a separate little system that I have. This doesn't really, it has a little solar panel on the roof, but, I charge that with that system. But, in case I'm charging, and I'm doing something over there and I need to run something, so I just connect it here and let that finish charging and doing its thing, And, that's my main charger, the Schumacher. That's the one I used to charge the big system. All right. And that's my MT50. As you can see right now, it's at 13.9 volts, totally topped off. See? So it's really not pulling anything. The only load right now, I have that inverter on, and the only load I have is like my modem and a couple of lights and stuff. So I'm running that right now. And what happens is that I'm only using the 410 watt inverter to run my lights. Now, if I'm going to run the recording studio, what I do is I switch. I turn off the 410 watt inverter. I use the bigger one, the best tech one. And this is my recording studio right here. And I run this whole entire studio. I mean, right now, because I'm not recording, I'm not doing anything here, but this is the recording studio. I run everything. I have surveillance cameras, my laptop, my PlayStation when I want to sit here and watch Netflix on TV. You know, if I come out back, this is the area. See, this is the area right here where I got all my like appliances. The lighting in here is another little separate battery. You know what I mean? And it has a little inverter in case I gotta like hook up a fan if it gets hot back here. I got a little switch. I got that light. That one's running straight from the sun. That one is from the battery. The other little USB light straight from the sun. You know what I mean? And right now, like, for example, let me see. I did this today. If I want to walk in here and I don't want to turn anything else on, I just right here I got this thing and then plug it in. See, and I can see my stuff. I put some LED lights under here. You know what I mean? Like I could really light this whole place up if I want. I don't even know if it's on. Let me check. All right, right now, for example, if I need like some main, no, it's actually off. But that big light right there, in case I'm doing a studio session, I'm running the studio and I switch to the bigger inverter. I got my studio microphones up in here, and like I said, everything off grid. I'm doing everything off grid with a small system. A relatively small system. And I think if people learn how to manage their systems, and if they learn how to manage their systems, if they learn how to be frugal, right, with their power. And when I say I'm not saying that you're gonna go do without. I'm just saying that you keep in mind, hey, look, if I'm not watching TV, why is the TV gonna be on? It's just being sensible, and I'm doing it. I mean, I'm literally doing it. The only thing I can't tell you that I can't run air conditioners. You know what I mean? I can't run air conditioners because air conditioners are like energy hogs. You know what I mean? In the future, that's my next step, to try to reach a point where I can run air conditioning and make it exactly like if we were on the grid. But let me give you guys another view. But that's my system, guys. That's my system right there, and it's a great system. I built all by myself. Learn at it. I had no previous knowledge of energy. No electrical background, and little by little, I learned. A friend of mine from Atlanta, actually from Georgia, Atlanta, same thing, from Georgia, and he actually got me started with electricity, and little by little. And guys, I know you see a lot of cables, but I assure you, I know what I'm doing. It's scarier than what it really looks. So we got all the 6 batteries. So in total, I have 6, 7, 8, and the one in the back studio, 9 batteries, all running different purposes. But totally off grid, man. Totally off grid, and I run a fridge too. I'm running that fridge right there. And the top one is a little volt cooler. I'm running that fridge, and it's working. It's working really good. What's amazing, at least to me, is like when I compared the bill and how much usage. When I was on the grid, and I compare it, and I look at the system, and I'm like, oh my god, everything I use can be contained in 6 little batteries, and it kind of gives you a perspective to how much the electric bills are like really high, because it's like my usage, I mean my lifestyle. I am not doing without. You know what I'm saying? I have my modem on. I got my internet. I use my laptops. I use my fans. I watch TV. I mean, it's more than enough to live off grid. And I think that a lot of people, if they were willing to adopt this mentality. I mean, like I said before, you're not. It's not exactly like living off the on the grid. You know what I mean? You do have to make some sacrifices, but there actually I think they're minor sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, if you have an electric stove, you don't want to run that off of solar. I mean, it'll last you what, an hour or two. It's not worth it. Get yourself a gas stove. Propane is cheap. Here in Puerto Rico, we don't actually like the residential houses. We don't have main like gas like in the States. You know what I mean? So we actually go out and buy propane tanks. All right, I buy my propane tank. I get the little 17-pound one. In fact, let me show you guys. I don't know if they have those in the States, or if they use them like residential, but that's how it works here in Puerto Rico. Residential housing, you have the let me come over here. You have the all right, that's the gas, all right? That's the propane tank, all right? That propane tank right there. Let me see. I think I don't know how many pounds that is. 18 pounds? Yeah, I think it's 18 pounds. Anyway, that little tank right there, right? It runs my stove for 2 months. And we cook every day, guys. Literally. Every single day we cook. We use the oven, I make pizzas in the oven. I got a little connection issue there. But like I said, that little tank, it lasts us 2 months. We cook, we use a stove. And what does that tank cost to refill? $15. And actually, it's $15 when the prices go up, but it's generally $12.50 for 2 months of gas. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, there's a lot of stuff that is applicable, at least to me, because I'm on an island. You know what I mean? So if you're in the States and you have the cold, then that's a different story. But if you're like in an island in Puerto Rico, you can bypass a lot of stuff. Your gas, all you really need it is for your stove, unless you have like a gas water heater. You can actually like decide not to have a hot shower. You could just bathe with cool water, with no heater. I mean, it gets a little cold sometimes, like in the winter months, but it's not like in the States. I mean, you need a water heater in the States. Over here in Puerto Rico, it's generally hot anyway, so it's like sometimes you want to get into the shower with nice cold water. In terms of like air conditioning, you can just open up all the doors. Puerto Rico has a lot of wind. So, if you ventilate your home and you have, fans strategically placed, you won't even need air conditioning, So, I mean, there's a lot of workarounds that you can do. Sun, especially the sun, getting free power, guys, every day, like I'll give you a perfect example. The last 2 days or so, I actually did have to turn the generator on because it was raining and raining and raining and raining. Now, the fact that I have a little generator, guys, I filled up my generator with like $2. Okay. And I only run the generator on an as needed basis. If I see that the day is really gray, I wake up like maybe 8 in the morning and I'm like, it looks like the sun's not going to come out. I turn the generator on. I run for like an hour or two. And that tops off my batteries, you know what I mean? And if there's a little bit left, usually by noon the sun comes out anyway, so the solar kicks in. But under regular circumstances, when it's just a regular day, I've got more than enough power. I mean, last month, at like almost 2 months, I bought $10 worth of gas. I haven't used gas at all. I used up like I said, these 2 days, and I still have the generators full with the gas that I bought last month. You know what I'm saying? Because the generators are small. You see what I'm saying? So I only use the generators, like as I said, when there's like when there's a really cloudy days. So like yesterday and today, it was extremely cloudy and rainy. So I turned on the generator yesterday for like 3 hours, and then today I turned it on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then all of a sudden it stopped raining. The sun came out, so I'm like, okay, great. Topped off everything, you know. And but solar is really good, guys, you know, and I recommend it to everybody, even if you're on the grid, you know, have at least, you know, a little battery, you know, a little deep cycle battery and an inverter, and even if it's a small solar panel, you know, even just one 30-watt panel, you know, but in an emergency, you'll have a way to charge your cell phones. You'll have a way. Look, my wife, she does her hair. You know, she does the whole flat iron thing. No problem. She does her hair. You know, and I mean, really, there's. I would say solar, at least the way I have it, is supplying me at least. I would say a good 90 something percent. You know, it's very minimal what I really can't do. You know, one of which is air conditioning, and the other is running the big fridge. But really, you know, it's just me and my wife, so we don't really need a big fridge. We just, you know, run the smaller fridge, and we save on electric. So it's like I said, we're not doing without. We can buy ice cream. We can have frozen meats in the fridge running, you know. But but that's the system, guys. So let me just give you guys a last little look. This is all DIY, you know what I mean? This is my system, you know, and those batteries, you could pick them up at Advanced Auto Parts. Those are the RV DC 24-1s. Each of them are about 85 amp hours a piece. So I have, in amongst all six of them, I have 516 amp hours. This one over here is a different. It's the same from Advanced Auto Parts as well, but this one's a different model. And this one gives me 121 amp hours. And this is just a regular little car battery. This was actually the first car battery that I bought after Hurricane Maria. I needed something to charge my phones, and that's what I could get. But I keep it, you know, nice and topped off, and you know, I use it for little things, you know, here and there. Another thing that I want to share with you guys is this. All right, Advanced Auto Parts, they have these little 12-volt fans. All right, these little 12-volt fans, don't let it fool you. You know, these things blow a lot of air. And, you know, these little fans, they put out one, you know, they only draw like half an amp, you know, in comparison to like a regular table fan, which will pull 5 amps. So in other words, I can have 5 or 6 of these little fans blowing at me for the same amount of energy that I'd be spending on, like, let's say, a Lasco table fan. You know what I'm saying? And these little fans are like, if you buy them at Advanced Auto Parts, they're like $13 to $16. But what I do is, see, I'm very frugal, and I buy them online. And on online, you get like discounts and coupons. So I end up paying like $7-8 for the little fans. So anytime I see some good coupons and I got a little money saved over, I pick one up. I mean, they're really good. They're really powerful. I mean, and I'm, take it from me, I'm living on an island, a tropical island, and it's hot. And actually, I'm using those now in the summer when it gets real strong. Real strong heat. Then I gotta use that big one over there. You know what I'm saying? I'll use the big fans and pull out the big dogs. But even still, you know what I mean. Who knows? I mean, if the little ones work during the summer, if they give me enough, air, hey, I'll use the little ones. You know what I mean? They're good, and they don't run off of the inverter. They're 12 volts. They run straight off the battery. So, but yeah, guys, that's my system, man. I hope you guys enjoyed this little thing. And yes, I live totally off grid. My system, my max that I've seen is it has put out 27 amps, which is like really, really good. But on a general basis, a system like mine will give you about 22 to 23 amps regularly. So by noon, after 4 hours, your batteries are all fully topped off. You know what I'm saying? It's a 570 watt system. And so that's what I got, guys. So anyway, leave your comments down below if you have any questions. If you like this video, if for my patrons who like to contribute to my channel, if you want to make any kind of a donation, it will help us out. Continue what we're doing and prepping. My PayPal link will be in the description below. So all you got to do is just click on it, and if you like our channel, then subscribe, press the little bell button. If you want to make a little donation, click on the PayPal link. And, if you want to send $1, if you want to send whatever, it doesn't matter what amount. It helps us out just to continue like doing what we do. And please feel free to check out my entire YouTube channel, where I have a lot of content about many things, about politics, about religion, about solar, about prepping and music and everything, because I am a singer-songwriter, and producer. So, I have a lot of content you probably will enjoy. So check out my channel. Well, guys, take care. God bless. Ruben Obed, and I'll talk to y'all later.